Good morning. So doesn't it feel like at the moment like something like we're being distracted again? Someone said to me the other day, look over there because they're busy doing something over here. And that's exactly what it feels like. And I don't know about you, but Saturday I had such a weird energy feeling on Saturday, like that, those times when you're in your body, but you're not really, sort of like you're daydreaming all day, like you're not really fully in your body, and you are sort of connected to both dimensions. And that's what all of Saturday felt like for me. I couldn't quite be fully in myself Saturday. I was partly in myself and partly somewhere else. And a feeling of, I don't know, that is just that feeling I get when something's about to go down and I don't know what it is. It was also one of those days wherever I was talking about, I know that we're continually being listened to. No matter what we talk about, our phone is picking up what we're talking about. And then you see stuff. But it was one of those days where on several different things that happened, they just lined up with each other, and it was quite weird. So the first one was about the US government had shot down a apparent spy balloon, which they're not saying it was from China or whatever, but they'd shot down this spy balloon, and then I'm not sure how long afterwards, but then they shot down an unidentified flying object. I'm not sure whether it was above Canada or Alaska, because there's different reports. Some are saying that one was Joe Biden said to shoot one down, and the next was President Trudeau was giving orders to shoot something down. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that UFOs do exist, and I know they've been around for a hell of a long time. So why now? Like, if they saw things, like there's people all around the world that have experienced seeing UFOs, and it's all around the world. It's not just America, it's not just Canada, it's all over the world. So why haven't they been shooting them down before? Why now? And why say about it? If they were trying to keep it from people, which governments do all the time, they keep stuff from people. If they were trying to keep it from people, why now are they not keeping it from people? And is it because there is too many people out there now with their own cameras, with their own devices, where news is spread around social media so quickly? The government can't hide things from us anymore, because even like the second one that was over Alaska, that the government was saying that they couldn't give a description of what it was like. Yet there's people with videos they've taken. They said it was a grey cylinder type shape. So they can't hide a lot anymore, because there's too many people out there now that are doing their own investigating and putting things on social media so it can be seen. But then I also read there was so many people thinking this was this, which is a so-called conspiracy theory, but conspiracy theories have a way of actually proving to be correct, don't they? So this one was about Project Bluebeam, where it was said that because of the technology that we can produce with holograms now, that they were going to create a hologram of, it looks like an invasion, and then we would be protected because the government would be shooting down these things and we would be protected. And that was a way of distracting us from something else that was going to be happening. Kind of makes a lot of sense, because a hologram nowadays, if you've ever seen that video of those people, there's about 4,000 people in a place, and there is holograms of dolphins like flying over, like they're swimming, but they're in the air, and you swear they look real. They look so real. They look solid. They don't look like a light that you can see through. The technology in a hologram now is absolutely incredible. So what's to say there's not a hologram of an unidentified flying object and it looks real? When you shoot it down, there's not actually going to be any debris, is there? There's not actually going to be any proof unless they produce some kind of proof on the ground later on. But you'd have to actually see it being shot down and actually see things falling for us to start believing, because I know I'm very skeptical of what I'm told, and I don't actually have belief systems. Like some people have strong belief systems, and when they are stuck in that belief system, that they'll believe that right or wrong. Mine's more of I'm open-minded. I don't have a strong belief system about certain things. But I have instinct, and my instinct at the moment is telling me that it's not right. I don't know, I just feel like it was that thing of look over here, what we're doing over here, while something over here is going to happen. So that was on Saturday. So I had flicked through social media and seen the news about these things getting shot down, and then it was on the, like I was kept flicking through, and then it came up about this Project Blue Beam, and then I was just flicking again, and I was just reading different people's opinions, because you know, some people totally believe that there was something shot down, or it was a nuclear, maybe it was a nuclear weapon. Yeah, I don't know, just something just does not feel right about this at all. Also, there has been so many people go missing and dying. And I remember, like, wasn't about 2 years ago when I made that video and I said, because of the way that energy is changing and shifting, there's a lot of people that aren't going to make it. But they knew that. Their soul knew that they were going to be part of this, but they weren't going to go through it. They were going to end their life. Their life would end in the middle of it. There's also a lot of souls that just don't want to see how this is going to play out, because it was always going to be between 2020 and 2025, and we're halfway through 2023, and look how much has changed. Just in 2 years, look how much has changed, and look how much keeps changing. And you know, some people don't want to go through it. Their soul just decides, I don't want to go through this anymore. I'll come back later on when things have been cleaned up. So, and then late on Saturday afternoon, I had flicked on the TV, and SBS was on, and it was a documentary about scientists and what they believe where people first started. So the whole thing was about our evolution and their belief that we all came from Africa. As this documentary was going on, it was saying, but then as people from Africa originally migrated out of that country into other countries, when it got to trying to get to Australia, there was such a lot of water between the lands. How were they going to get onto the land of water? Because you know, they didn't have the boat capacities. They only had like raft type things, homemade timber rafts that were never going to get across the oceans to Australia. And as it was going on, that was when they brought up when they had dug up the Mungo bones of the Aboriginal people and discovered they were 24,000 years old. So that kind of blew their theory of what the scientists thought, you know, where we originated from Africa and then we just spread out around the rest of the world. But what the Aboriginals in their dream time have always said they've been here. And I was watching this, and you know, I don't particularly believe a lot of the science. I think they guess a lot of stuff, especially with archaeology. When they'll dig something up and they'll tell us that it's 40,000 years old. And I'm like, really? Like, can you prove that? That's like when someone says to me, I will do a prediction of the future, and they say, can you prove it? And I'm like, no, not till it happens, but there is proof coming. But they can never prove that. They can't prove it. Like, we just have to sort of believe stuff. Anyway, so I was watching this because it was just interesting to see how scientists like to describe how we got here as humans, and how they believe we evolved from being dark-skinned to light-skinned, you know, dark skin with brown eyes into light skin with blue eyes, and I like to listen to how their theory on how they think that happened. So after that, I went out for dinner on Saturday night, and there was a lady sitting across from me, and she was talking about, I don't know what where she got this from or where she heard it from, but she was saying that she was reading something or had this discussion with someone, and she was told that there was only the way that things, I might have been I know, she was looking at astrologists, following a couple of astrologists on YouTube, and, you know, like the way that the planets have aligned, and due to the way that the planets are aligning is what is happening on Earth. And two of the astrologers had said that only two safe places that will be left on Earth is Africa and Australia. And I said to her, that's absolutely fascinating that you just said that, because earlier today I was watching a documentary where scientists believe that population formed from Africa and Australia. And the rest of the world, it seemed to be people had moved to that area, but wasn't created there. So I said, I just wondered if that's got something to do with this whole energy, the way we are shifting in consciousness. And are we meant, because I've always said, I feel like we are meant to go back to nature. And if you look at the African tribes and the Aboriginals of Australia, they are at one with the land. They are at one with nature. They work with nature. And I've been saying for a really long time that I feel like this energy is drawing us back to being at one with nature. So it was so interesting that the way things were lining up during the day, and the conversations that was happening was kind of like I was questioning one thing, and then someone else was telling me something that was totally connected to that as well. And it was just this really weird day. Sunday I got up and I was fine. Everything felt back to normal. It was just on Saturday. I don't know. What's your thoughts on all this? I know, you know, this thing, I haven't done any predictions for this year because I kind of feel like the ones that I've done for the last 2 years are still unfolding. So I don't want to put new ones on top just yet until the other ones have unfolded. I know another lady who's quite in tune. She felt like the money changes were going to come through at the end of this year. And I've been saying that for a long time. I remember talking to a real estate agent maybe a year and a half ago, and I said that real estate will drop. And this lady said, no, they can't. It never drops. If you look at history, it never drops. It may plateau, but it will go higher. But because I like to follow the prices of houses, I've seen houses that have been at 550,000 and they're now sitting at 475. I've seen places that were asking for $1 million in an area that had like a view of the water, and now they're asking for 850. They have dropped, and I knew they were going to drop. And I also have said, because the interest rates are going to keep going up, that people that bought lots, maybe one or two investment properties might not be so bad, but people that got greedy and bought lots of investment properties with these interest rates were going to struggle to pay off all their mortgages. They'll have to put rents up for people, which then people can't afford them, or they'll have to sell their properties and make the houses available again for people that are trying to buy into the market. It's kind of like a lot of greed. Anything to do with greed is, what's the word? Anything to do with greed is dismantling. So it's not possible to keep living a life of greed. It'll kind of be taken away from them. Anyone who has that mindset of they're just in it for themselves and the greed, it'll be taken away. And I've said this for a long time, we are supposed to be working together as a community. We're supposed to be looking out for one another and not just ourselves. But the thing is, when a person is going through something, they only think about themselves. When you are going through something, if you're worrying about your own finances, if you're worrying about your own health, if you're worrying about your own relationships, because it's affecting you, you make it about you and you don't particularly care what is happening to anybody else. Because in that moment, it's about you. It is about you. But if we are a community-minded people, if you are someone who helps other people and you look out for other people, when you are going through something hard, they will come back and help you. We're just in this mindset that we got into this mindset, and I don't even know when this happened, but we got into a mindset of just look out for number one. Just look out for me, and don't worry about my neighbours, and don't worry about anybody else. And is this universal energy trying to bring us back to be more community minded, where we help each other out? I don't know. I often say if we don't listen to what we're being taught, things will get taken away from us until we do listen. And it's called a tower moment, where everything that you have in your life, you think it's all rosy and everything's going great. And the tower moment comes where you have something taken away and it wakes you up. And it could be your health is taken away, money's taken away, a partner's taken away. Something is just taken away from you. And it wakes you up to gratitude, the simplicity of life, and not to make it always about you. Like, just what do I want? And I think that's where this law of attraction can be so dangerous, because it's basically just teaching everyone, just go out and get what you want. There's nothing in that about helping other people. And I don't know. I've also had a few visions of people that have really deserved something good to happen to them. They haven't been greedy. They've been very giving and very humble and very grateful, and they haven't complained. And they seem to be, I see a lot of good things happening to them. And I've been hearing a lot of great stories about good things happening to people that don't expect it. They're not sitting back saying, I deserve to have something great happen to me. They haven't even said anything like that. It's just fallen in their lap because they are humble and silently grateful. And those with greed, I'm seeing it getting taken away from them. Their focus has been on money, work, status, and not on helping people. So, and that's the whole reason we all came here. We came here to be of service to others, not just to service our own soul. So, yeah, drop a comment below on what you think about this. Apparently now is when they want to talk about UFOs. Now is when they want to shoot them down. Or what about the thousands of years before when they've been here? Why not then? Do you believe that there is a distraction, that we're supposed to be looking at that? And also, why America? Like, there's UFOs over Australia. There's UFOs over Africa. There's UFOs over Europe. Like, why? Is it only the US at the moment? Do you believe that it is technology of holograms and they're not even real? Do you believe there is some form of invasion coming? And what do you think about Africa and Australia being safe places in the future? So I'd love to hear what your comments are. I don't really have an opinion or a belief. I'm open-minded. I have instinct on a lot of things, and my instinct's proven to... I watch reality unfolding around me, and it lines up with my instincts, so I'll just keep going with that. So, thanks again for listening to me. Drop a comment below on what you think is going on, and love to hear from you.